So, for the past 2 weeks, I have had exams nearly every single day. So unfortunately, that has meant that my channel has been relatively dormant. And you know what else has been dormant? Statues. And in today's video, as suggested by loads of people on my Discord server, which you should totally join by the way, it is in the description, I will be going through 10 different statue designs. Keep in mind, these statues are designed to work with the scale of the player, and therefore they are relatively small. Surprisingly, the larger the statues get, the easier they are to make, since they are a lot more organic. So I will be showcasing the smallest designs in today's video, simply because I feel like more people would struggle with them because they're a lot harder. Anyway, let's get right into it. Before I get started, this is a video to encourage your creative juices, to get them flowing, and to give you inspiration for your own worlds. It's not really meant to be a tutorial or a direct block for block copy of these builds. It's just meant to inspire you, give you ideas for what you want to do in your cities or towns. But anyway, let's start off with an ice statue. Now, this one's a lot bulkier than some of the other ones. It's a lot more blocky. It sort of looks like it's being directly carved out of the ice rather than, built up from the ground. So it's a lot less smooth. It's a bit more ragged. There's no stairs and slabs and things. But it's a really cool design in my opinion. It's got a staff with a spruce fence and then a prismarine wall at the top, which looks like a frozen kind of spearhead or something. And then we've got a crown with end rods and cyan stained glass panes. The base here is actually a lot more organic since it's got the snow layers, but it's a mixture of snow and ice and compressed ice. And then there's a really rugged, rough path at the front, out of the grass paths and the podzol and the nether sprouts and things like that, which looks really cool. And yeah, this is just a really organic design for maybe a Nordic or a Viking or even a Christmas village. This would look really cool if you're trying to Christmasify your world, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, I guess. Just a wintry build if that's what you want to do. So yeah, let me know what you think of this down below. What would you use it for? And next up, this is definitely for more of a wealthy medieval area, I guess, or possibly a steampunk or something. It could really work in so many different scenarios. It could even work in a modern scenario or something like that. But as you can see, we've got a cobblestone path leading up to a brick base with the brick and granite and all kinds of things like that. And then the statue itself is a lot more organic. It uses stairs and slabs. It's in sort of a leaning position, leaning out, firing its bow and arrow. And the bow is a very intricate design. It uses granite walls and jungle fences, and then it's got an arrow with spruce trapdoors and a cobblestone arrow head. And then we've got the iron bars as the string that he's using. I've used stairs and slabs to sort of suggest a face with the eyes and stuff, but it's really difficult to get in details like that. That's one thing I've found out with most of these statues. It's super hard to get in the exact shapes and details you want. You've got a very limited space, and yeah, it's just very difficult to work with. But for the most part, this is probably one of my favourite designs. It's a lot smoother, a lot more organic, and it's definitely for a more wealthy area since it's got the bricks, and it sort of looks like it could belong in a town centre. Moving on, this is definitely for more of a Roman or a Greek style of build because it uses a lot of quartz. It's sort of like a marbled design with quartz and diorite and things. And yeah, that's basically it really. I've sort of used the quartz pillars for like a toga design. It sort of looks like it's been carved away to imitate a cloth texture or something like that. And then the statue itself has the sea lanterns for eyes, which I've tried to cover up with the banners. It would be super handy to have vertical slabs or something, but unfortunately that's not quite possible yet. But as you can see, it does look really cool. And then on the top we've got some gold for the crown. If you don't want to use gold blocks, that's fine. You could use yellow concrete or something, or you don't even have to include that at all. And then I've got sort of the birch fences and the yellow stained glass panes for the spikes on the crown. Then this one's sort of draped in leaves around the toga, which looks really cool. And we've also got a sword. And you could really hold anything in the hands, really. You don't need a staff for this one. You don't need a bow for this one. You don't need a sword for this one. You can change it up for whatever you want. I just decided to go for things that perhaps looked a bit more fitting for these designs. And I tried to go for something unique for each one. And it doesn't necessarily need to be holding anything at all, although it does look a lot more strong and noble and things like that if it is holding something like that. And then the base over here, it's made out of diorite and quartz bricks and things, which looks really awesome as well. Next up, we have Aquaman himself, or should I say some kind of merman or Poseidon or something like that. It looks very Greek or perhaps Atlantis style. So basically it's got a prismarine base like this with the prismarine and the prismarine bricks and all of that. And then we've got a tail that sort of looks quite scaled. It's got scales all over it because it's got dark prismarine, which has a very grid-like texture. Then above that we have the prismarine bricks for the most of the body, but then for the beard and the hair and the toga, it sort of has the warped planks instead, which look great. And then for the eyes, we have once again the sea lanterns. You don't really need to cover this up as much because it sort of blends in well from the side, so it doesn't really look like an eye there. But then on the side here in the hand, we have a trident, which looks so cool in my opinion. I love how this looks. It sort of has a gradient going from a thicker base to a thinner base, going up like this from the wall to the fence to the end rod, and that looks really awesome too in my opinion. Let me know what you would use this for down in the comment section below. Now for this one, I've decided to go for an Egyptian style, and I've decided to use a lot of materials because they would have used things like gold and different colours in their statues and their sarcophagi and things like that. So I decided to go for more of a colourful design that incorporates multiple materials rather than these more monochromatic designs. So firstly we have a sandstone base, and then we have a very quartz and smooth sandstone statue here, but then for the headdress itself we have some lapis blocks and some gold blocks, and then we've also gone for some wood for some detailing and things, just to add a bit of extra colour. This face is a lot more defined than some of the other ones. You can clearly see the cheeks and the nose and the mouth and the eyebrows and things, so that looks really cool. But I've decided to incorporate a lot of wealthy looking blocks, especially the gold here. And then we've got some kind of, I'm not exactly sure what this is called. It's called a crook. I do really like how it looks. It sort of curls around. I've had to use a mixture of fences and walls just so they don't connect, but I do think it looks really cool. And then around the base I've just got some dead coral and some dead bushes and some cacti, just to go for a very dry Egyptian desert scenario, which I think looks really awesome. Moving on, this one is definitely the cutest and probably my favourite design of them all. This is sort of like a tree ent or something, which could be like a mythological statue that people worship. Maybe it's even like a tree god or something. I think this could look really cool, and I've decided to go for a very swamp-like scenario. I could imagine this in there, very overgrown, loads of mushrooms and loads of different textures in the ground. I've gone for like a chiseled wood base, but it's very overgrown with leaves. The statue itself is mostly made out of wood with spruce fences, slab stairs, but I've also got some mushrooms on the side to suggest it's quite old. It's being decomposed because it's a very primitive statue. I've also got a cobblestone wool staff as well as some shroom lights, which I think look really awesome and really bring it together. And over here, this is certainly the most abstract design on the list. It's a very, very futuristic design. We've got stained glass panes and concrete and quartz and everything. It looks very, very futuristic and cyberpunk-esque. And this is more like a hologram than anything else. We've got very, very subtle defined features such as a head, some arms, a body, but for the most part this is very abstract. It's kind of hard to tell what it is, but you can use things like end rods and stained glass panes in survival. I've even seen people use world edit for things like flowers and things that also make it look like a hologram, which I think looks really awesome. And then I've even got a beacon beam going up through the middle. That obviously is quite expensive, but if you do have a beacon and you want to hide it in a statue or something, that could look really brilliant. So yeah, let me know what you think of this down below. Is this something you would use too frequently, or would you avoid using this in your cyberpunk or futuristic builds? Because it's a very odd design, I must admit, but it's quite a unique, cool design. It could really bring a world to life. And next up, I've actually gone with an end crystal for this one, so this is very, very dangerous. You'd want to keep this area lit up so skeletons don't somehow shoot it, or the players don't shoot it or anything. But yeah, this is in a jungle. If you're on a server, I suggest not using that because it's a bit dangerous. This is a jungle design though. It's sort of like a temple guardian or something. Just some overgrown, dilapidated, ruined statue. This could be guarding like an ancient temple or a jungle temple or something. And then it's overgrown with vines and leaves and mossy cobblestone and things, which I think looks super cool. For my penultimate design, we have a Blackstone Nether design or something like that, some kind of evil dragon design. You could have this in the Nether or some kind of orc settlement or dark castle, whatever you want really. But as you can see, I've mostly used the nether bricks and the red nether bricks for the dragon's shape, and then I've got a bit of sandstone just to add a few details, and some birch fences as well, just to add like claws and things, which looks really cool. Then I've got the shroom lights for the eyes. I've got sandstone walls as like horns and things, and it's perched right on top of a blackstone base with a very nethery, corrupted looking path around it, which I think looks super brilliant too. And then last but certainly not least, we have probably the most common statue you'd want to be using in your world. I've decided to go a bit above and beyond and incorporate a fountain into it, a water fountain, which looks super awesome too. So as you can see, we've got just a regular cobblestone path here with the fountain base around here, and then we've got like the blast furnaces, which sort of look like grates to bring the water in or something. Who knows? Who knows? But then above here we have the statue. It's sort of in a lunging position with a shield out and then a spear or a pike or whatever you want to call it. And then I've actually used Blackstone, the polished Blackstone walls to highlight the shape of the helmet. So this one's got a helmet on. It's sort of like that T-shape that you often get with helmets. I've decided to use the Blackstone just to emphasize it a little bit more, to make it even more clear. I think that looks super cool. And then I've used the red nether brick walls to have like that, the plume that they have on the top of their heads. But as you can see, this is a really, really interesting design. It definitely works in a medieval or a fantasy style of world. Let me know if you would use this down below. It's definitely the most basic design that could be used in so many different areas and scenarios. So let me know what you would use this for. And there we have it, all 10 designs. I hope you got some inspiration from this. Also, let me know which of these statue designs was your favourite. I'm quite mixed on this one. I do really love the 3 on this end, but I also really like the wooden one here and the archer over there. So many cool designs, and I decided to try and use so many different themes so you could be inspired for whatever style of build you're going for. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys can come up with. If you want to show me some of your builds, then please join my Discord. It's in the description below. And anyway, bye for now.